Yep. So Roe v. Wade should be getting the axe soon, hopefully. Lord willing. And no, Roe v. Wade isn't going to abolish abortion. You'll still be able to get your abortions for you sadists out there. It's still going to be there. The elimination of Roe v. Wade and the execution of this just terribly heinous ruling, all it'll do is just give the power of these decisions back to the states and the constituencies of these states. It will take away the federal government's edict from on high to determine what happens in Louisiana, Oklahoma, California, New York, and it'll just give it back to the states of those individual choosings. So when you want to get an abortion and you live in California, you'll still be there. They'll keep their hands off your womb. It'll still be there for you. Places like Oklahoma will probably nix it altogether. So if you live in Oklahoma and you're one of these lunatic lefties, or just a pro-abortionist in general, or a liberal that believes in it, well, you can leave and go to a state that's much more accommodating, a purple state of some sort. You'll be able to go there, move there, live there, get your abortion, if you want to. But what it does is it takes the ability of the federal government from demanding that taxpayers in certain states that don't believe in this have to live by it. It doesn't hurt democracy as you suggest. It actually promotes and helps it. This is one of those decisions, if it goes through and Roe v. Wade gets the nip as it deserves, gets cut right off, this will help our constitutional republic. If you're a lunatic left, a centrist, all the way to the fringe right, it will give you the power to vote in state and local officials that you think best suit yours and your community's ideals, your values as a Californian or your values as a Louisianan. You can go to a state like Oklahoma that'll probably get rid of abortion, or you could go to one of these moderate states. Texas will probably have some sort of stipulation, or you could go to one of these states like California, which say that they want abortion up into the second of birth. So the doctor and the mother will decide that we're going to stab the kid in the head with a pick, suck their brains out, rip them limb from limb.
There's a speed trap ahead.
All out within 1 second before the baby's born. Or you could go to a state like Virginia, where ex-Governor Ralph Northam said that even if the baby is born, we should make the baby comfortable and discuss with the doctors whether we should slaughter the baby that's out of the womb or not. You can live in that state, but you'll have options. The federal government should have never had this power to begin with. And the fact that it's going back to the state level because we are a federalist system where it belonged in the first place is a good thing. That is democracy in action. The constituents will vote for people that they believe represent their values. And if they want the wholesale slaughter of babies, boom, you can vote somebody in for that. You got the power. Now to say that we are racist because we want to do this, is beyond me. That it's only white males, cisgendered white males, that want to get rid of Roe v. Wade is beyond me. When the black community has more abortions than any other race in this country, we're trying to save black babies from being mutilated, murdered, before they even get a chance to take their first breath. We're trying to save those lives in the pro-life organizations, in the pro-life movement. We're trying to save minority babies, not wholesale slaughter them. When you have places like New York City that have more black aborted babies than live birth babies, on top of the fact that they got a massive murder epidemic and drug epidemic that kills thousands upon thousands of black people in New York. They get a net negative of population, and the fact that they slaughter more babies in the womb than actually get born. At this rate, the New York black population will be a non-existent thing because they will slaughter themselves out of existence by laws like abortion on demand, telling us that we're the lunatics, or we're the fringe, we're the problem with this constitutional republic. When you have these disgusting, evil demons on TikTok bragging about, oh, I'm on my 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th abortion, as if that is something worth being proud of, as if that is something that should be heralded as a bold and brave decision. Slaughtering children by the millions. 60 million plus babies in the 50 years of Roe v. Wade. And you want to talk about genocide? The genocide of the Native Americans, the genocide of the black community. If there was ever a word that could be used for the disgusting practices of that slaughterhouse like Planned Parenthood, genocide would probably be the fitting word for that place. That place is an immoral baby slaughtering operation where millions upon millions of dollars and tax-paying money goes to funding the mutilation of babies, where they were caught selling baby fetuses and baby body parts, where they're sitting there convincing women that may be on the fence about getting an abortion, convincing them to just do it, and being subsidized by the federal government to get it done. And they're telling me, oh, the federal government, they've got laws against it. They don't participate in that. You don't think money isn't fungible? If you gave me $20 and said, you can do whatever you want with this $20, but you can't buy Burger King with it, how do you know what I'm going to do with that money after you hand it to me? You might have given me a rule, but I still didn't obey it because the money is already in my pocket. So I'm going to do what I want with it. You lunatics out there saying that babies are a clump of cells, or I didn't give consent for this leech to suck the life out of me, to give it self-nutrition and grow in my body. Have you lost your mind? You gave the consent when you decided to have sex. That was the consent. Conception is consent. When you do not plan accordingly to not have a baby, and then you practice in the reproductive act and you get a baby, out of this tried and true method of a man and a woman laying with each other, this tried and true method of baby making, and you so happen to get a baby, and then you're like, oh my God, where'd this baby come from? I did not consent to this. What kind of madness is this? Saying that it's an autonomous thing it's a non-autonomous thing that's sucking the life out of you. Well, what the hell do you think a baby does when it comes out of the womb? Do you think a baby just gets dropped out of the womb and starts walking around and fending like a bovine creature? No, it needs you. It needs you for about 17 and a half to 18 years after that. So what the hell are you talking about? My body, my choice? Well, where's the choice for the baby? The baby doesn't get a choice. It's just a clump of cells. So let's get rid of it. Well, by that logic, so are you just in general. You're just a skin tuxedo in a meat suit. By your own logic, you as an individual have no inherent worth, just like that baby. You have no worth. Because all you are is a meat suit running through the rat race of life, all the way up until the point of your death. That is not an argument. You know, I think Ronald Reagan said it the best. How do you say it? The only people that want abortion are the people that are alive. Well, why did you get to live, but the baby doesn't? Saying that, oh, it's for the mental health and well-being of the mother. The mental health? It's an inconvenient. It's inconvenient to be pregnant. Is it? Well, then why'd you engage in sex? Why'd you engage in the reproductive act if not to be inconvenienced for 9 months and then 18 years possibly after that? Why'd you engage? Why'd you engage in a thing that you know that there's going to be a consequence at the end of it that you may not want? You can engage in a bank robbery and have the potential of getting away with it, or you have the potential of spending some time in federal prison. That is a risk, as a bank robber, you're willing to take. Why would you engage in an activity knowing that the outcome could be something you don't want? And then to pretend like you didn't expect it, or now it's a problem. I didn't ask for this. Your people's mental gymnastics and your train of thought makes absolutely no sense. No matter how you square this, it will not fit. It's unbelievable. And the fact that you're politicizing the Supreme Court like you did in St. George's case, where you're trying to persuade through threats of violence and intimidation and doxing of the Supreme Court, persuade their decisions. The judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the executive branch should never be connected together. The separations that these individual branches of government is a good thing. The judicial branch should never take public opinion into account for any reason. I don't care if something that I agree with or disagree with. They should never take public opinion into account. If somebody rapes and murders a child, I, in most of the United States, would probably agree to just take him out back and shoot him in the head. Give him what he deserves. But thank God we don't live in a system like that. A system that due process and justice is supposed to be blind. Where he will get his day in court regardless of the heinous, disgusting nature of his crime. We won't just get to give him frontier justice. As what is it, the Hateful Eight says. Take him out back and hang him from a tree. We don't get to do that. So no, standing in front of these people's houses where their children eat and sleep, threatening them to the point where the majority opinion Justice Samuel Alito can't even give a speech because his life has been threatened, a Supreme Court justice, and the Biden administration not even taking it into account, not even condemning it, pretty much saying you get what you deserve if you want to rule against the Democrats. Are you insane? And then you're calling us the destroyers of democracy? No, we are not. For the first time in about 60 years, there is a majority conservative court. It's always been left-leaning. And now that there's a right-leaning court, y'all have a problem with this? This is how democracy, your precious democracy works. This is how our Constitution works. And it might be like this for 35 years. But then all of a sudden, it might flip back to another liberal court. And the liberals can rechange everything again. And round we go in this circle. But you threatening Supreme Court justices, doxing where they live, going to their house where their children, families eat and sleep, is disgusting behavior. It is completely immoral. And at the summit of this insanity is Joe Biden, our decrepit in chief, sitting there with pudding for brains, sitting at the pinnacle of crazy. A man who no more than 30 years ago said that abortion should be safe, legal, and rare, now is screaming for the wholesale slaughter of kids up into birth. How is this even a thing? If it were up to me, abortion would just be eliminated altogether. But it's not. And thank God it's not up to me. Because it shouldn't be up to one individual to judge an entire society. Or to edict an entire society. It should be up to the states and their local officials to judge how they want their state to be run. You know what? Getting rid of Roe v. Wade will probably be the healthiest thing for this democracy, if you even want to call it that, because we are a constitutional republic. The framers designed it that way because a pure democracy in itself is evil. A majority rule is evil. If the majority of the people want to do a specific thing and the minority of the people don't want this to happen, they will never get anywhere. They won't get what they need. We should never live in a pure democracy. That's why states like California, New York, Texas, and Florida don't get to make the laws for everybody. Because the way Floridians, or however you say it, the way they want to operate their state should be different from the way Californians want to operate theirs, and vice versa. And nor should these individual states have any ability to tell Rhode Island what to do, or Wyoming, or Oregon. They should all do it on their own, the way they want it to be, the way they want it to be done, the way their constituents and their voting blocks want it to be done. That is why we live in a federalist constitutional republic. That is what makes this place great. That is what the founders wanted. The framers of this country wanted that. They didn't want majority rule or mob rule. You know what? Let me know your thoughts.